I am going to take this opportunity right now to tell everybody how much I love you all and maybe goodbye. Last fall, my channel got accidentally deleted and it was reinstated almost immediately due to certain specific errors and reports. I don't have any community strikes, and I want to keep it that way. And so I'm praying and hoping that nothing happens. But in case it does get deleted, whether it be deliberate or accidental, I want to take this time out right now to thank all of my subscribers and all of the other wonderful people and content creators that come to my channel, even if they're not subscribed. I enjoy listening and reading all your comments and listening to all of your vlogs. I love the channels that I'm subscribed to, and I really, can't say enough how much I enjoy watching different cultural content on YouTube, especially from my subscribers. And so I do want to tell you goodbye in anticipation of something happening, and I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't. Welcome to my channel. Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel, and you guessed it, to an episode of my messy Italian kitchen. And that would be because basically my kitchen is a mess, almost as though a cyclone just tore through here. And I'm also going to be redoing or reorganizing my horrible looking pantry. It's, I don't know what to do to keep it neat. I understand that every time I have a gap, things start spilling over into that empty space, and then voila, it's a mess. I'm going to be needing some new containers because these are the ones that I'm phasing out, and I would like to go for something smaller and more narrow. That way I can get 3 to 4 even pieces all in one bin. And so that makes much more sense than having 2 big, huge, and practically empty containers in every bin. So, yeah, if you can recall, last time that I showed you my kitchen pantry was about a year ago when I devised the system that I'm now using. And so I'm going to basically keep the system and just, fill out the gaps. The week that my place transitions from summer to autumn, and so I'm going to be working on that as well. And I'm going to also be cleaning out these older bits of candy and gum. I basically didn't have any of those, and I'm glad because my teeth do not like sticky candy, and these are very hard, so they're going in the garbage. I went out to the store to pick up some of those new smaller containers for my pantry, and I also have to pick up a few more things for my freezer, which I'm cleaning out, and probably for an upcoming holiday. Just a couple of things, nothing major. I hate going to do those major grocery hauls. I can't handle it. A few things at a time is good enough for me. As you can see, this has become quite the mess. Although the main setup is still working pretty well, I really have to get going on filling out the empty gaps. I'm going to be shifting some things around and maybe picking up another one of these crates right here. They're very useful. But as for the rest of the things, they need to be moved out and completely phased out because I don't have the room for all of these items. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of moving around and reorganizing. Yeah, this has become quite the mess. And some of these things have been here for at least a year, and so I'm ready to throw them out. As for my pantry makeover, remember how I told you I was going to be phasing out these bigger, chunkier jars for the little ones, the slim, shorter ones? Well, I am basically going to drop by the dollar store today and see if I can get that going. I don't only need about 3 or 4 of them. All of the rest have been already phased out. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to throw these out, but I'm simply going to move them somewhere else and use them for something else. A lot of these items have just about seen better days, so I'm simply going to throw these out, and that will also mean making a lot of new labels for all the different items that I will be reorganizing. So yeah, I have that job to do as well. I decided to phase these out because I prefer the drier kind, and I'm going to be purchasing those from now on, along with a lot of other different kinds of beans. And as for this is the pumpkin filling that I purchased well over a year ago, and I just never got around to using it, so I'm just going to chuck that out in the trash. And all these empties that I have been storing up in that upper shelf, I'm going to find a new home for these because it's taking up space that I need, and I never go there, so because of those empty items, I'm just going to tuck them away in a cupboard that I don't normally go into very much. And so, yeah, that'll give me some more space. And so these are the canned goods that I'm going to be storing up in the pantry. And if you can recall, I had these cans in the middle shelf right there. And so what I'm going to be doing is simply moving it right up here because I don't go there very much. And what a mess that is. I have to clean everything out. my grocery haul. And before I forget, the total came to approximately $85, but I didn't find the pasta, and I'm so peeved about that. And I didn't find any turkey. So I know that I have to be making some sauces for the freezer for this upcoming winter. And so I purchased some sausage, and that, guys, that's an awful lot. I decided to go for the big package so that way I can make as much sauce as I want. And basically, I used to make the lentil sausages with my sauce, as well as pork sausage, but I haven't been able to find them. So I bought a little more than I normally do, and I hope that this will make do. It's spicy, and so I always like to have my tomato sauces a little bit spicy. And so I picked up some chicken, and these are the gizzards in anticipation of making some gravy for Thanksgiving. And I'm not sure exactly, I'm not going to be following the one I did last Christmas, although that was delicious, but I'm going to try to maybe simplify things. I'm not sure that I'll be vlogging it. And there are the tomatoes. There's 10 of them all together. And I bought some sweet peppers, onions, and a few mushrooms. Just, random things that I ran out of. Now, guys, these are all items for my pantry. And no, these are intended to stay put for a long time. And actually, this is the first time that I've ever seen more than one flavor of Jell-O, so I just stocked it to the brim. And yes, I bought those treats right there. I'm dying to try these. And it seems that I'm missing one bag, though. I know that I bought 2 of each, and these ones are, well, that's good enough. And so there are the crackers. And I also picked up some corn nuts and some other bad things that I shouldn't be eating. But I want to try to stick to smaller portions from now on, because I don't like cracking out a big, huge bag of popcorn and then it's there for 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And in anticipation of that, I also picked up some of these. So I can fold them away whenever I'm tired of eating, which is practically never. And so I decided to pick up some pretzels as well. And these are the dry beans. I bought chickpeas and lentils. I already have the white beans in the cupboard. Rice, almonds, and luckily I was able to find more of those wooden fixtures that are so useful for my pantry, and I found more wire racks, and I'm hoping that I get some good use out of these, because it really does it solves the problem of what to do with those little items that topple over all the time. And this is, for me at least, a good solution. I could even stick a couple in my cupboards because I have the same issue there. And so, all in all, this is a combination of $2 store hauls, about $115. Oh, and the jars. Yes, I have throughout this vlog mentioned that I just purchased jars. Well, I purchased a few more, and unfortunately, these are the right size. The middle ones, the medium-sized ones that come to about here, are absolutely nowhere throughout the city. So I'm a little peeved about that too. Oh, my bad. I forgot to show you the frozen peas. you see what I mean about my favorite kind of jar? It is so precise in storing one package of merchandise product. And I pretty much cleaned out these items. This is Nietzsche's water. I like to keep it refrigerated in a glass bottle. And she loves it cold. She won't drink her water unless it's icy cold. And so I'm looking for more wine vinegar and some more white vinegar. And I think I have enough mustard for now. This is my favorite mustard in the whole world. And I try to make sure that I never run out of it. It's a little hard to find, but I did manage to get another bottle. And I should throw this out. I never have this. I just thought I would want to try it, but I never have it. It's not worth buying it. This has been in the refrigerator for months now. Not quite a year though. And so you never know. I'm also low on salad dressing, and I like to keep this particular shelf stocked with all kinds of salad dressings. And I do use mustard with vinegar and lemon juice for a salad dressing. So yeah, I'm always trying new things. Since I no longer keep my bread in a pantry, I recycled the bin for something else, and it's much easier to keep the bread in here. Like that, I know exactly how much I have, and you know, it's not easy to keep bread fresh when it's in the pantry, so it's safer in here. Here is the progress that my basil has been making, and as you can see, I really do have to transplant this because it's going to start withering away if I don't. It's been doing pretty good up until now, and my eggplant plant is no longer a plant, but quickly becoming a tree. So, but I don't really think that I need to transplant this. It's just grown so much. And the same thing with the parsley. And let me show you. Now those roots are so thick and wide that I can't possibly keep the parsley in this little pot any longer. As for the other plants, I simply need to plant more catgrass, but the others are doing well enough for now, and I may have to look into investing in another catnip plant soon, because this one, I had to cut most of it off. It was just growing everywhere, and so it hasn't been doing well since I cut it, but it's surviving. So here is the basil that I transplanted one more time, and I had to run back and get another planter, which is about double the size of the other one, as you can see right there. And it looks promising, guys. The entire plant came out all in one piece, intact, when I did remove it from the little one, from the little planter, that one. And so I think that maybe I didn't kill it. Maybe, I'm not sure. And so I did also transplant the parsley, and it's looking much better in the larger pot. And so the basil, that's where I have my basil. And so it's just right for the parsley. And I hope that this planter lasts for a while, because it does seem as though this is going to expand and keep expanding and expanding until I finally have to buy one more large planter. I also moved the plants back a couple of inches because now the colder weather is going to start coming. So I wanted to make sure that they went back a little further. And like that, they have a chance to stay warm longer. And so I hope that this kitchen garden does last me, at least throughout the winter. Also, there's something that I hadn't realized about this basil plant, and that it is different from this one. As you can see, the leaves are shaped differently, and this sort of has a darkish tint to some of the leaves, and so I think right now we're looking at cinnamon basil. So I decided to, since this is the room that all the trash accumulates in, I decided to make space for trash essentials, and I need to make a label for those because it doesn't make sense to walk back and forth from one room to another to get these bags. So there you go. And one more theme that is actually very new to my pantry this year is the beverages. So I thought that I would simply bring them down to eye level because I've been having tea so much more lately. And remember those left over from Christmas? I'm still loving them, but they're quite sweet, so it's a very rare treat for me. And yeah, so this is by no means finished, and I'll have to very slowly make my way through the rest of the pantry. Well, it's 7 p.m. and I've been working on this for approximately 3 hours, and it's unfortunate that I have not yet been able to find those medium-sized jars. I could do with about another 4 to half a dozen of them, and that would make everything perfect. But so this is not set, and I haven't actually cleaned all of these bins out yet, but this is what the middle row is looking like, and this is pretty much set except for I need to find another one of these. I really need them, and so I'm looking for a lot more of those as well. And I found a way to keep all of these loose items from toppling over every time I went down here to get my Tupperware. And if you can see, I cleaned that out as well. And it's going to work much better, I think. And I decided to go back to my original method of storing trash bags. And there are the other trash bags. And I use mostly these ones for Mitra's litter and her cat food, the leftover scraps, you know what I'm saying. And so I haven't done the bottom row. I did this part, but I haven't done the bottom row. The last step will be for me to just pull out these items and wash the floor down there and put everything back. So I need to pick up some more mineral water and some water. If you can see, it's down there. And, you know, just try to find a little more of the items that are low on supply. And so, if you can see, I don't have that many almonds. Almonds are one thing that I go through an awful lot of every Christmas because I bake the cassatel and I make my late mother's almond cookies. And so that takes an awful lot of nuts. So I need a bit more dry beans, and I'm not sure if they're bothering my bladder. Every time I have dry beans, like I soak them for a day or two, and I don't, I retain that water. What can I say? And so I think I'm going to just purchase a lot of lentils because I love lentils, and I'll fill this tall slim jar up with lentils, and yeah, hopefully I can find what I need at the store. And so the walls do need a coat of paint, and I do have the paint. I purchased the paint, but I'm not going to do it now because I really need to clean out my cupboards over the sink and under the countertop. So I really need to get going and finish this. And then I have the living room window, all of them to clean because I left those ones out. And I really need to get going on those windows just before it starts snowing. And so I actually moved some stuff around, and this makes more sense. I covered those because I know that I'm going to be doing some home projects, and I don't want any dust to fall inside of those little holes, so I covered them up. And it makes more sense to put the heavier things that I never reach for up on top. And those healthy oils are not for cooking. They are for essentially for making things. And although I'm ready to throw them out, I want to give myself a chance to write down all the names because they make wonderful and amazing beauty products, and they're also good for hair. They're good for skin. So, but they're out of reach for now. And these are the ones that were switched out. I need to wash these. This is a good jar right here. That's a good jar. But everything else is going to get tucked away. And probably I'll be putting things for the refrigerator in these containers. And so I did switch out the flour from those better jars. And I just, think that these bigger ones are better off in the refrigerator. And so it's more organized that way. And these are the ones that I keep in the refrigerator. Next day, and what I've been showing you so far in terms of progress with the pantry, it's not really working out in terms of organization and convenience. So what I'm going to do is simply look for some more fixtures because I had a brainstorm last night and I worked into the wee hours of the morning and I redid a lot of what I showed you, but that's all, that's all in the process of developing from different ideas and different types of inspirations that I have seen throughout, YouTube, and a lot of you are really good at this, so thank you. And so this is the fixture. This is the fixture that is saving the day. It's a real game changer. And I just love this fixture. And also, I'm looking for hooks. I keep forgetting to look for them, which I can hang, tools and other essential items like that. Like that, my cupboards and drawers are not so jam-packed because many of those things that I use on a daily basis are much too large for the drawers, so I'm stuffing them in the oven and in other places that are not very convenient. So I'm going to be changing all of that up. And so I'm going to be heading back into the store, but I won't take you inside with me this time because you've already seen what I purchased and it's more of the same. I'll see you guys back at home later on. Everybody, I'm home now and it's 7:30 and I did get the fixtures. I got these ones and I also got the 5 of the longer ones, and so they're almost exactly the same except for the length. And then I got these particular ones that are great for my my diet manuals and my paper cookbooks and stuff like that. One of these is going up on the shelf that I told you about, and they're going to hold some of the books that I have that are just lying around in the pantry, and so that'll neaten things up. I was so tired. I basically knew I was forgetting the hooks. I was leaving them out. I'm going to do that another day because I probably won't get to that for another couple of days. I still have to line the pantry shelves, and but I do want to show you the progress that I have made so far, and it's quite different from the last clip that I showed you, and I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but we're going to try. So hang on and I'll let you have a look. So that's what the paper looks like, and I am really pleased at how this is starting to pull together, and I am loving the combination of jars and racks, and I can basically stack any floppy item, and I don't have too many problems. I don't know, maybe this can go in a jar. So do you see how these jars are fitting much nicer in a bin? I can get 1, 2, 3 in an entire bin. And with the other jars, I was lucky if I could get 1 or 2. And the product just did not fit very well. These are the types of items that... Now guys, I never really buy this much junk. But I am trying something new, and I wanted to see if I could get this to flow. And so, yeah, it's flowing all right. And if you can see back here, all those different shaped bins, they came right in handy. And so, yeah, I couldn't wait to try this out, because it's really important that I get to stack the floppy items. I haven't really worked on the top yet. I haven't done the shelf paper or anything like that. So that's coming along. And so this is the middle shelf, again, the other half. And I tried to stock as much as I could just to see what it would look like full and how much product it would take to fill this pantry. And it, you know, I probably am not going to have it this fully stocked all the time, of course not. But I do want to see how much product I could actually squeeze in here. And look at, everything is quite organized. Well, not exactly neat, but it's actually very organized for me. And everything fits perfectly. I'm liking how this has come along, and it's still not perfect. It's still in the works. I still have to fiddle around with some bins and make sure that everything fits and doesn't topple over. And so, yeah, that's the problem. Even though it looks neater, I think that my life will be saved. My everyday life will be much better with the addition of these racks, which will hold everything intact and in place. And I don't have to deal with any more of that wobble, as you can see. And so, yeah, it's far from finished, but if you get the idea, this is what it's going to look like. And so, this row here, it actually, it's, how do I say this? It goes with my morning routine. Every morning, I make coffee, I feed Micha, and her food is all here, nice and neat. And I got rid of all those paper cartons, and they were all stained. Oh, and it was time that I threw them all out and just began fresh with very clear new bins. And so, yeah, and there are my multivitamins. They're vitamin D. They're not multivitamins. And so this takes care of my morning routine right here. And it's going to take me forever, the longest time, to really finish everything and perfect it, because the shelf on top is going to be quite difficult. And that's where I usually leave all of my oversupply, my overflow. And I'm not sure how I'm going to work out that space, but I'm slowly and gradually incorporating more space into that top row. And so the thing with these wire racks is that you can actually just, nothing is fixed. You can change it around, you can move it around. If you get tired of one product, you can change it, you can change the size. A lot of you might be asking, well, why don't you just redo your pantry and redo the shelves? Well, I just answered that question for you. I have been seriously considering redoing the pantry, but the shelf situation is basically fixed, but now I can make it more versatile by adding in these little racks and making sure everything stands up very nice and neat. And I can move them out, I can add more in as much as I need. And so nothing is written in stone. And so I seem to have solved the problem of making more space and keeping everything upright without flopping over or breaking. And maybe it's still a bit of an eyesore, but it's nice and neat. I like looking at lots of different varieties of things all together. And because I was a merchandiser, it sort of gives me that little bit of extra fun to put things away at night when I come home from shopping. I like order and tidiness in my pantry, but I'm still not there yet. And so I am going to be working on the top shelf and the bottom shelf, and I'll probably let you have a look when I'm pretty much done. I wish I could paint as well, but I don't see myself painting. It's still quite warm, and the whole place will smell like paint. I want to be able to open a door and let it dry, and we're not there yet. We're still at 28 degrees Celsius today, and so it's not time for me to paint the walls. And so besides the wire racks changing up the game of organizing the pantry, I sort of also solved the problem or issue of that big blank space in the middle, in between each shelf. And these racks help me take the space vertically instead of just simply horizontally. So now I'm using space both ways and not just horizontally. I also picked up some squeeze bottles for my mustard and ketchup and some more bag clips. And so I managed to pick up some squeeze bottles, and this is exactly the way that I love to look. I love my fridge to look because it's very difficult to go through all these bottles and find exactly what it is that I feel like having. And it's different every day. And here is the final version of the cat food shelf. And it sort of blends in with the rest of the shelf. And so for some reason, guys, my flash is not turning on. I guess I don't have that much memory left. And so, yeah, that's looking a little neater. I got rid of all the paper and the plastic. And so, yeah, I'm pleased with this look. And yep, there's my Jell-O. And yes, this is the other half of the pantry. And those are the nuts and the barley. And yes, my junk food. I am trying to go easy on that, but these are my favorites. And I try not to make this too much of a habit. And those are the bag clips and my baking supplies. And so I tried to take it evenly down here And here are two more stacks of junk food and the beans. I love my pretzels and my pumpkin seeds. And I tried to keep this sugar-free, but it wasn't easy, guys. I think I have to still keep working on that. And there's my gum. And so there's the tea. And that seems to be working out very well. You see how nice and neat that is? And this is the back row. Yeah, a lot of these things were creating such a problem, an issue, but now everything seems to be nice and neat. And here are more baking supplies. And in the back here, I have the raisins and the chocolate chips and the cranberries. And down here, the cinnamon and the chocolate and the honey and the yeast and the icing sugar. So this was the problem shelf for me, and I did clean out the bottom just a little, but it didn't really make too much of a difference. I found that there was a lot of dead and empty space there, so I took away a box or two, but it's still basically the same. I found a bin to put all of my little baking items into, and it's a little neater. It's a little neater. And this was a real, how do I say? It was a real challenge, and I finally got the flash going. And yeah, this was going to be a problem, but everything fits. And so now nothing is falling over. Those are the items that kept falling over. Yeah, it's feeling good now that this is all apparently in some sort of logical order. Now, guys, the final challenge was the Tupperware. And the racks, for me, were a lifesaver because not only did they help me organize the space, they prevent things from flopping over. And I am so glad that I found them all. I do have a couple left over, but I'm amazed at how many I actually was able to use to make this space worth using. And there's the water, and those are the garbage bags. There's one last look with the flash up there, and I'm loving that tomato soup, guys. I'm loving it. I add it to everything that I cook. So this is the final version of the top shelf, and it does look a little bit similar to how I had it last time, but it's a little neater and a little more condensed, and I do have a little more space because I emptied out the bottom layer. And I took away 2 large boxes, but it didn't make that much more space. And so what I couldn't squeeze in, I hung. If you can see that those were really spilling over everywhere. It was a big source of frustration for me. But this is finally pretty much organized, and it's going to stay this way for a long time. And I finally have all the pasta that I love and rice to boot. So it's looking pretty decent to me. And I still have a couple of empty jars, but I can always get rid of those. I didn't know exactly how many jars I would need for all this product. So not only is that pantry an eyesore because of all of the random gaps, it's also becoming a problem because of the issue of stacking floppy items. And so I think that throughout this episode, I'm going to be trying to figure out new ways to properly organize these floppy, baggy, mushy items that I have in my pantry. And we all have those kind of things in our pantries, don't we? So as I mentioned, or will mention at some point in this vlog, I'm looking for more of those squarish wire racks, and those are a godsend because I remember using that particular one once when I had an item that could not properly be stored or organized in terms of space, and so I was able to turn it into a solution. And so now what I need is to go and look and see if I can find a few more of them. Everybody, I'm home now, and this is actually a huge haul. Now, I've already been through a couple of hauls, and this is the third one, and so I'm not sure where I'm going to insert this clip, but I was telling you that I would probably go back to the dollar stores and see if I could pick up some extra storage containers and wire racks. And so I spent all in all another $100. And so I did manage to find these wonderful, amazing wire racks, and each store had different sizes. So I grabbed a few of each. I have 5 of those, and now I have a total of 4 of these. And I'm hoping that that's enough because I'm getting tired of running back and forth to the dollar stores. I've just about bought out all of these items. And so I also picked up some of this paper, which is the kind that my mother used to do all of her cupboards. I am only doing the pantry with that paper, and then I'm going to cover it with this, but that comes later after I've done all the organizing, because this is really becoming such a long and difficult, drawn out project, but I really want to complete it. I also picked up some more of these perfect size jars, and today their shelf was fully stocked, so I was in big luck. And at the other dollar store, I also found these. Now, hang on, and I'll show you the difference. Do you see how they're different? This one is a good size. And so I grabbed 4, but 1 broke, so that's life. I also managed to pick up the things that I didn't find yesterday, grocery-wise, and these are beautiful Brussels sprouts. I will probably roast these with lemon juice and garlic and a little salt and pepper, and I love it like that. And so some more pantry items, and this is the pasta. This is my favorite type of noodle, and I also picked up some of these. I did find the turkey, and so there are 3 upcoming holidays, and this will do for all of them. This I'm going to be having next week, and yeah, so I'm in luck. I always manage to go to the right places, but yesterday I was out of luck and I couldn't find them. I was really frustrated. I also decided to bring some life to this big empty gap over the refrigerator. It's a shelf that my late mother had installed when we ordered our new refrigerator. And so rather than having all of those bins cramped way up on top that I don't really use, I'm going to simply put some of the empty jars that I am trying to recycle up here and maybe fill them with decorous items or something like that. And I'm going to pop up a couple more bins up there and just bring some life to this dead shelf. So what can I say? Between yesterday's haul and today's haul, I'm going to be unpacking for quite some time. And so I'm going to be putting away the turkey and then probably little by little trying to finish off the pantry. Don't forget I have to also rinse out these jars before I put any food in them. So yeah, bear with me. Part of my household agenda for this week is done. It took me a good 4 days, and mind you, this was one of the biggest hauls that I've ever done. And in terms of fixtures and food, because I didn't know exactly what I needed. So I had to keep going back to the store for more things. But I finally got it right, and thank goodness it's all behind me. It's all done for at least another good year. And yeah, I'm loving the way it's looking. It's a bit of an eyesore, but it's okay. It'll do. At least it's organized in terms of space. And now for the last job. Let's go put up fall. And I forgot to show you, I also picked up this cute fall decoration, which it's much cuter than the ones behind me. I am going to put it right over the kitchen doorway facing the hall entry, and I think it's so cute. And so now that my fall is out, I am ready to say goodbye. And I thank you so much for listening and watching and helping me out and coming along to the stores with me. Wasn't it fun?